In the soon-to-be Kingdom of Sweden was a region as yet unnamed, a province filled with adventures and challenges, with struggles and dangers, in an era of legends and myths. A province that would become Ostrobothnia. This is a story from the 1370s about the excommunicated priest Andreas Dacus. The priest Andreas has been working in the Diocese of Åbo for many years. He knows his Latin, he's a great preacher, and he lives a good life off the tithe. He has a good housekeeper named Torborg. Andreas often visits the taverns of Åbo. He enjoys good food, wine and beer. However, several of his visits to the taverns have ended with him being thrown out. Such scandal for a man of the cloth. And there's this thing with Torborg. But Andreas fends off the accusations. There are many other priests who also live with their housekeepers. But as if that wasn't enough, he has also started seeing the wife of one of the wealthier farmers in private. And gossip has already begun to circulate. Bishop Johannes in Åbo has had enough. He sends Andreas a letter containing a sharp reprimand. The disgrace is absolute. Andreas's only option is to flee. Early one autumn morning, he leaves for the harbour, carrying his priest cowl rolled up in a bundle. The journey takes several days. Finally, they land close to Ulfsby, near the mouth of the Kumo River. From here on, he needs to travel by foot, alone. Andreas pretends to be a travelling scholar by the name of Benedict. But winter is approaching, so he has to find a roof over his head. Now that he's far enough away from Åbo, he can probably dress as a priest again. The cowl will provide him with food and housing. And it does. He can eat his fill and sleep in isolated homesteads. But Andreas is a scholar, not a knave content to live off the kindness of others. He should have his own homestead in these remote parts, and rights to receive the tithe which every farmer should pay to the church and its servants. Andreas is surprised with the ease with which he manages to lie. A farmer in Pedersör is tricked into handing over 1/10 of his harvest, which normally would go to the vicar of the parish. Oh, it's enough for him to say a few words in Latin and refer to the Bishop of Åbo. Another homestead offers him food and lodging. This is a good place to be taken care of during the winter. But the vicar is suspicious. There's something wrong with this man. As spring arrives, the vicar sends a letter to the bishop in Åbo, Johannes Westphal. The answer arrives with the first blooms of summer. Bishop Johannes excommunicates Andreas Dacus, the priest who has led an indecent and godless life in every way. He is condemned, no matter where he goes. The message has been sent to all priests in Ostrobothnia. Thus end the halcyon days of Andreas Dacus, and he is forced to flee again, this time northwards and into the fog of history. We don't know what happened to Andreas, but he probably avoided the consequences of excommunication by disappearing in Lappmarken, an area in the north outside of the Church's control. The letter preserved until today is the letter from Bishop Johannes. It was sent to the priests in Ostrobothnia, written in Latin and dated the 31st of July, 1374. The letter sees the bishop listing all the sins of Dacus and excommunicating him. Excommunication meant that a person was excluded from the church and could, for example, not be buried in hallowed ground. It was a harsh punishment, but should still not be confused with outlawing someone. That was a worldly punishment and meant that a criminal person could be killed by anyone in the land. Perhaps all hope was not lost, though. One can sense in the last lines of the bishop's letter a possibility for remission of sins. If Andreas had chosen to better himself and to support the church with monetary donations, he might have been reinstated in the church. But whether or not that happened is a story left untold.